Thank you, Joe, for the introduction. As private prison management is a controversial issue, there are several activist groups that oppose private prisons. Industry leaders must be aware of these opposition groups as they are looking for legal loopholes and are lobbying to politicians to downsize or even ban private prisons. In addition, groups that oppose private prisons claim that privately managed prisons are in violation with human rights laws. The industry leaders must counter such attacks and align with the proper legal and political groups. Privately managed prisons must also be able to disclose inmate and operational information as well as stay in close relations to their community. I am first going to discuss political and legal issues, influences, and organizations that industry leaders must be familiar with. Finally, I will close with political legal recommendations that may help industry leaders better prepare for possible future changes over the next 10 to 20 years. Studies have shown that political party controlling the legislature can have major influence over private prisons. Though the Republican Party typically favors private prisons, the Democratic Party has recently started to favor private prisons as a result of overcrowding in general. An important legal issue that industry leaders must be familiar with is the non-delegation doctrine. The non-delegation doctrine is based from the U.S. Constitution delegating Congress making policy rather than leaving it to unelected officials. Critics of private prisons are attempting to use elements of the non-delegation doctrine to their advantage. Though I would feel that it would be very difficult to use a non-delegation doctrine as legal grounds to ban private prisons, it is not an impossibility. Private prisons are in compliance with all federal and local laws. In addition, the non-delegation doctrine really does not have enough bite to make a strong case to ban private prisons. However, political influences can go a long way, so industry leaders must constantly monitor any new litigation. An organization that industry leaders must be familiar with is the American Legislative Exchange Council, also called the ALEC. The ALEC was created to advance the principles of free markets and limited government. The ALEC highly supports increasing the amount of private prisons in the U.S. In addition, the ALEC supports legislative policy making and decisions to promote privatization of prisons. As there will be a swing of political party changes over the next 20 years, the ALEC will be a valuable asset for all private prisons. My future political and legal recommendations to leaders within the private prison management industry is to align with strong political and legal representation, establish strong support from the community, and ensure that all human rights laws are complied with. As new laws and policies are constantly being revised, industry leaders must align with political representatives that will protect, support, and enhance the future of all private prisons. Political and legal support will keep existing laws in place and establish new laws that could increase the amount of private prisons throughout the U.S. In addition, maintaining and establishing a strong support relationship with the ALEC is extremely important for the future of private prisons. The ALEC is opening doors to expand privatization, and the private prison industry has great opportunities for expanding. My final recommendation is regarding community support and human rights. In order for the private prison industry to expand over the next 20 years, there must be a strong support by local communities. Being actively involved with the community gives the industry a positive image. Also, staying in compliance with all human rights laws is a necessity for any human rights violations would give fuel to the fire for groups who oppose private prisons. Thank you for your time, and now I'll bring you back to Joe.